The moment froze in time, my girlfriend raising her glass, my eyes catching a suspicious movement. With a split-second decision to switch our drinks, I had no idea I was about to uncover a betrayal that would shatter everything I believed about love and trust. I'm Daniel Reed, 34, a software developer living in Austin's vibrant tech corridor. For 2 years, I'd built a life with Chloe Evans, shared dreams, inside jokes, and long nights talking about our future. She was brilliant, a marketing consultant whose sharp mind matched her dazzling smile. We'd met at a tech conference where she challenged my presentation with questions that made me think differently about my work. That intellectual spark ignited something deeper. And before long, we were inseparable. October 12th, 2024, should have been the pinnacle of my career. After years of grueling work, I'd secured a promotion to lead an AI project worth millions. Our apartment buzzed with excitement as guests arrived. Colleagues with whom I'd pulled all-nighters, college friends who'd seen me struggle, and family who'd supported my journey. The air smelled of expensive wine and Chloe's signature rosemary appetizers. "You've earned this," Mike, my best friend since college, said, clapping my shoulder. Who would have thought that scrawny kid who couldn't debug a simple loop would land something this big? I laughed, feeling the comfortable weight of achievement. Hard to believe myself. Speaking of which, have you seen Chloe? She disappeared to the kitchen a while ago. As if summoned, Chloe emerged from the crowd, her emerald dress catching the light, 2 wine glasses balanced carefully in her hands. Her smile reached her eyes as she approached. That same smile that had made me trust her from our first meeting. "To the genius behind Neuratech's most promising project," she said, her voice carrying just enough for nearby guests to hear. Her green eyes locked with mine, reflecting candlelight. "I'm so proud of you, Dan." She handed me a glass of Cabernet, my favorite from the Sonoma winery we'd visited last spring. I almost took a sip, but something made me pause. A flicker of movement caught my attention as she turned to place the wine bottle down. Her slender fingers dipped into her clutch, extracting something small, a clear vial. With practiced precision, she tipped its contents into my glass, the liquid dissolving instantly into the dark wine. My mind refused to process what my eyes had witnessed. Was this really happening? Chloe, who had held me through my father's passing last year, who knew every insecurity and dream I harbored, was drugging my drink? The room seemed to tilt, guests' laughter becoming distant background noise. I maintained my expression, years of poker nights with colleagues finally proving useful. "This looks amazing," I said, voice steady despite my racing heart. "Let me grab some of these stuffed mushrooms to go with it." I moved toward the food table, glass in hand, peripheral vision noting Chloe's momentary distraction. Our neighbor had pulled her into conversation about her recent promotion. With her attention diverted, I circled back, quickly swapping our identical glasses before she could notice. Rejoining the circle, I watched as she sipped from what she believed was the untampered wine. Her perfectly shaped eyebrows raised slightly in appreciation of the vintage. "Delicious, isn't it? I splurged a bit for your special night." "Worth every penny," I replied, pretending to drink while my mind raced through possible explanations, each worse than the last. 20 minutes later, it happened. Mid-conversation about marketing trends, Chloe's sentence trailed off. Her hand trembled, wine sloshing dangerously close to the rim. Her eyes widened in confusion, pupils dilating rapidly. "Dan," she whispered, face suddenly pale. The glass slipped from her fingers, shattering against our hardwood floor, wine spreading like blood across the polished surface. She swayed, then collapsed, her body crumpling as if strings had been cut. The room erupted in chaos. "Call 911!" someone shouted. Mike rushed to her side, checking her pulse while guests backed away in horror. "She's breathing, but something's wrong," he said, looking up at me with concern. "What happened?" I stood frozen, watching emergency lights eventually paint our living room walls in red and blue. The paramedics worked efficiently, loading Chloe onto a stretcher. "Possible adverse reaction," one said. "Has she taken any medication today?" "Not that I know of," I answered truthfully, the irony bitter on my tongue. After they left, guests departed quickly, murmuring about food poisoning or allergic reactions. I closed the door behind the last concerned face, then leaned against it, sliding to the floor as the reality of what had happened crashed over me. Why would she do this? The question pounded through my head as I searched our bedroom for answers. Under normal circumstances, invading Chloe's privacy would have been unthinkable. But nothing about this night was normal. Her nightstand drawer opened smoothly. She'd never bothered locking it, perhaps never imagining I'd have reason to look. Inside lay the empty vial, Sedative X printed on its label. Beside it, a leather-bound notebook I'd never seen before. My hands trembled as I opened it. Pages of meticulously documented information about my project filled the notebook. Timelines, security protocols, access codes I'd mentioned in passing. How had I not noticed her cataloging these details? Interspersed were notes about my habits. Heavy sleeper after red wine. Password pattern always includes mother's birthday. Laptop rarely locked when home. My stomach twisted as I flipped further, finding printed emails between Chloe and someone named Victor. The exchanges were coldly professional, yet intimate in their conspiracy. Target promotion confirmed. Timeline accelerated. Subject completely trusts me. Access achieved to home office. Primary security measures documented. Celebration event optimal for extraction. Prepare payment channels. The woman who had held me through nightmares had been documenting my vulnerabilities. The person who whispered, "I love you," each night had been planning to steal everything I'd worked for. 2 years of memories were recontextualized in an instant. Her interest in my work that I'd mistaken for supportive curiosity. Her suggestions to host work meetings at our apartment. Her insistence on managing our shared calendar. I remembered Victor Lang now, a developer from Nextech who'd approached me at several industry events, always asking just slightly too many questions about my research. I'd thought him merely interested in potential collaboration. Now the pieces aligned with sickening clarity. My phone buzzed, a text from Mike. "At hospital with Chloe. Doctors say she'll be okay. Some kind of sedative in her system. Any idea what happened?" I stared at the message, unsure how to respond. Part of me wanted to rush to the hospital, not out of concern, but to confront her immediately. The rational part knew better. I needed a plan. I called my sister Jenna, a corporate attorney whose pragmatism had helped me through every major crisis since childhood. "You're sure about what you saw?" she asked after I explained everything, her voice calm but concerned. "Positive." "And I have her notebook and the vial." Don't touch anything else, she instructed. Take photos of everything, then put it back exactly as you found it. We're dealing with attempted assault and corporate espionage. This needs to be handled carefully. The next morning, I reviewed our apartment's security footage. A system Chloe had oddly objected to when I installed it 6 months ago. The video clearly showed her slipping something into my drink. Further searching revealed a tiny camera disguised as a power adapter in my home office, strategically positioned to capture my screen and keyboard. With Jenna's help, I secured a warrant to access Chloe's email communications legally. What we found was extensive. Nearly 8 months of coordination with Victor. They had meticulously planned to drug me at the celebration, copy critical aspects of my project code, and sell it to a competitor for $2 million. The level of calculation was staggering. When Chloe returned from the hospital the following afternoon, she appeared shaken, vulnerability etched across her face. She rushed toward me, arms outstretched. Dan, something terrible happened. The doctor said I had a sedative in my system. I think someone at the party spiked my drink. I stepped back from her embrace, the familiar scent of her perfume now nauseating. That's interesting, I said quietly, because I saw you put something in my drink last night. Her face shifted through emotions, confusion, then shock, then a carefully constructed mask of innocence. What are you talking about? I would never. I switched our glasses, Chloe. The statement hung between us like a physical presence. Her carefully crafted expression cracked, color draining from her face. I can explain, she whispered, eyes darting to the door as if calculating escape. It's not what you think. I found your notebook, I continued, voice steady despite the storm inside me. And the camera, and the emails with Victor Lang. She crumpled onto the sofa, defense strategy visibly shifting. Victor pressured me, she said, tears welling in her eyes. He found out about some mistakes in my past. He threatened to expose me if I didn't help him. You documented my sleep patterns, I replied. You noted which wine makes me drowsy. That's not pressure, that's methodical planning. Her tears dried remarkably quickly. Fine, she snapped, mask falling completely. You want the truth? Your precious project isn't even original. Victor's team had the concept first. But your company's executives favored you because of your family connections. We were just taking back what was stolen from him. The accusation was as false as her love had been. I had no family in the industry, had earned every opportunity through merit. But her willingness to twist reality revealed the person she truly was. Pack your things, I said quietly. You have an hour. The police will be contacting you soon. You'd press charges against me? The disbelief in her voice was almost comical. After everything we've been through? That's exactly why, I answered, surprised by the hollow calm in my voice. Because there was never an us, just your long con. After she left, I submitted the evidence to both the police and Nextech's board, attaching a detailed timeline of Victor and Chloe's conspiracy. The response was swift. Victor was escorted from his office that afternoon, and Chloe was arrested that evening. Nextech issued a public statement distancing themselves from Victor's unauthorized activities, their stock dropping 15% in a single day. The weeks that followed passed in a blur of police interviews, legal depositions, and company meetings. My project launched on schedule, the team rallying around me with unexpected loyalty. We've got your back, my lead engineer said. Not everyone's like them. The trial came 3 months later. I testified calmly, recounting the events without emotion, though inside I still struggled with how someone could share my bed, my dreams, my life, while systematically betraying me. Chloe maintained that Victor had masterminded everything, but text messages told a different story. She had approached him after learning about my project, offering access in exchange for a cut of the profits. The judge sentenced her to 4 years for attempted assault and corporate espionage. Victor received 6, his previous industry violations factoring into the harsher penalty. As I watched them led away in handcuffs, I felt no satisfaction, only a hollow space where trust had once lived. Rebuilding came slowly. I moved to a new apartment in a different neighborhood, one without memories lurking in every corner. I adopted Max, a rescue dog whose innocent trust helped heal something broken inside me. Work became both refuge and triumph. My project eventually generated $12 million in its first year, earning me a substantial bonus and industry recognition. Dating again took longer. When I finally did meet someone, Rachel, a literature professor with no connection to the tech world. I found myself scanning for signs of deception for months before I could relax in her presence. You know, she said one evening after I'd finally shared my story, what happened to you says more about Chloe than it does about relationships. Some people see others as means to an end, but that doesn't mean everyone will. Looking back now, I recognize the warning signs I'd missed. Chloe's strategic curiosity, her convenient availability for key meetings, her subtle mining of information masked as supportive interest. But I also understand something else. Switching those glasses wasn't just self-preservation. It was the moment my instincts refused to be silenced by emotion. The moment truth asserted itself despite my heart's objections. When Chloe raised that glass in false celebration, she believed she was watching the culmination of a perfect betrayal. Instead, she witnessed the beginning of her undoing, and my reluctant awakening to the complicated reality that sometimes the people closest to us wear the most convincing disguises. Last month, I received a letter from Chloe's attorney. She's seeking early parole and wanted to make amends. I returned it unopened. Some betrayals leave wounds that close but never truly heal. And some lessons are too costly to risk learning twice. But I've found my way forward, building success on firmer ground, and learning to trust again, carefully, completely, and with eyes wide open.